thoughts. I am extremely puzzled by that bill because it is, as the AJC reported, the centerpiece of the Democrat agenda for Georgia, as Stacey Abrams identified right after she qualified to run for governor. I can't understand why our government, our Republican legislature, is sponsoring bills that are the centerpiece of the Democrat agenda. But beyond that puzzlement, the bill apparently has a lot of flaws in it that I'm not sure it can be repaired. In the testimony today, many of those testifying indicated that our mental health system is broken, and I wholeheartedly agree that that is true. Our mental health system, along with a host of other systems in our state, is broken. And 1013 cannot be the answer to the brokenness. Let me tell you why. In 2003, when Sonny Perdue was elected as the first Republican governor in 130 years, there was a legislator, state legislator. He's a Democrat. His name was Randall Mangum. And Randall would annually sponsor a legislative breakfast that brought pastors in from across the state to meet with their legislators and to meet the various department heads who led Georgia's initiatives at that time. And one of those department heads that came in was a woman who said to the participants in the breakfast that the way she said it was, y'all, they label black babies that are born, newborn babies, as special needs. And we all looked at one another like, what are you talking about? But from birth, the state of Georgia was labeling little black male children as special needs. So regardless of what they might have achieved in their lives, regardless of what their intellectual, social, moral capacity was, they were handicapped from day one because the system labeled them as special needs. What is going to happen with all these other children who today are being labeled with some mental health dysfunction? What happens to those families as they're trying to navigate that what could be a mental health issue? It very well could be as simple as a behavioral issue, and yet our children will be labeled and forced to medicate or get counseling or something else that will have them labeled for their entire lives with a mental health label that can impact them later in life, like whether they could go into the military, the different kind of jobs they could hold. No matter how much they prove themselves later on in life, they would have a label forever. In addition to that, the bill makes no exemptions for your religious beliefs. So a Christian like me, who is a minister, could be made to counsel someone against my own belief system. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I have a friend. She went to the grocery store. She had her little 6-year-old daughter with her. And while she was shopping, a man approached them, looked at her daughter, licked his lips, bit his lip, and then told her how luscious her 6-year-old's lips were and how he wanted to suck on them. According to this bill, that predator should get counseling because he has a disorder. We would not address him as a crime, but as a mental health disorder that would entitle him to counseling. Okay, so he finds out that I'm a minister and he comes to me and says, I want you to counsel me. I cannot tell him no, that I'm not going to counsel him because his behavior violates my belief system and makes me believe that he's a predator. I would have to counsel him under the mandates of this bill. Under this bill, taxpayers are going to be made to pay for that counseling. Under this bill, we are creating a paradigm for police officers that they should bring mental health counselors with them to various situations. And yet the sheriff from Forsyth County made it clear that the social worker counselors are like purple unicorns. We don't have enough of them. So we already have a crisis in employment of these people, not counting the crisis in employment that we have with other medical professionals across the state, including nurses and so forth and so on. So I am puzzled, terribly puzzled as to why the Republican leadership of Georgia is promoting a bill that Stacey Abrams says is the centerpiece of the Democrat agenda for 2022, that has all these flaws in it, that's not fixing the holes in our mental health system, but is now going to create even more holes because we can't staff what they are promoting in this bill. And yet the pressure is being applied on the senators to pass the bill. I am praying that our senators have enough courage to say no. Yes, as one of the legislators said, he has been working on mental health bills for over 10 years. Clearly, whatever he is offering is not enough to fix the brokenness of the system. So maybe we should identify new ways of addressing what is broken. Maybe we should bring some doctors in. Maybe we should bring lawyers in. Maybe we should bring nurses and mental health counselors in to find out what the holes actually are before we craft a bill to fix it. So I want to encourage every leader, every pastor, every minister in the state of Georgia to reach out and call your senator and tell them to vote no on HB 1013. I want to encourage you to encourage them to take the time to craft a bill that would really help those suffering from mental illnesses, that would not force believers in Jesus Christ to have to violate their faith in order to meet the mandates of the bill, that would not put a greater burden on taxpayers to pay for these services that are outlined in the bill. Call your legislator, call your senator, tell them, vote no. Thank you.